You will not hear me say that communing with the dead does not have certain advantages, but it has unequivocally more drawbacks. Let me illuminate, gentle viewer, how we arrived at our uncomfortable condition, this murderous menage a cinq. As a grown man, I found myself in the emasculating employ of a pubescent girl child, a world-famous pop star well known to both the very young and the very lecherous.
I believe anyone can change. I believe anyone can change.
While on tour in an unpronounceable South Asian kingdom, we were compelled to give a command performance to the princess/living goddess, yet another young female with more power than myself. Afterward, in a deeply moving traditional ceremony, our starlet was to be given a magic hat of some significance. And let us remember that a crown is a hat, technically. I do know that before they would give it to her, we had to sign papers attesting to her purity. Apparently, local legend says the crown may only be worn by an unsoiled girl, or terrible things would happen. Anyhow, needless to say, the magic hat immediately exploded and killed everyone in the room. It seems our girl had, on occasion, enjoyed the best of both worlds. The occasion requires a brief roll call of those whose lives were comedically cut short. La Princesse, naturally, and the pop star, the confusingly named Miyoko Gandolfini, the princess's consul, attaché, and tamer, and finally, light of my loins, fire of my life, bass guitarist, and a bass is a guitar, the diaphanous Claudette Green. A severe and unreachable angel, sublime and sparkling. Claudette Green. She could have made it all worthwhile and turned my life into endless bliss. But she was utterly uninterested. Your humbled narrator survived this incendiary headdress because he was barred from being there. However, he did soon find one of his oldest fantasies come to life. And if you've ever watched any television at all, you know this always ends badly. Far from departing, the departed were soon encircling me. And how do I fit into all this? It appears that at various points in my life I've lusted after Asian dancers, rocker chicks, sexy businesswomen, and... moving on. As a result of the curse, I got what I wanted. All their souls came to live with me. I was suddenly the manservant of a most macabre sorority. Not bad, the lustful and ignorant of you may sigh, but let me swiftly dispel you of any pleasure either of us may take from this peculiar pledge class. First, my dream of eternal conjoinment with little dead Claudette turned nightmarish as I realized just why she was out of reach forever. Bass guitarist and princess soon entered into a union that certain early 21st century political figures would find quite unacceptable. Miyoko had certain appetites her demise did not diminish, and as I was the only male in her universe, I'll spare the delicate viewer any innuendos involving the word stiff. As appealing as this arrangement looks on paper, being called to service several times a day by the selfish corpse of a palace functionary does get old. Especially when... Oh, I'll also spare you any entendres about exploring the Mekong Delta. After all, there is youth and purity in our household, and with her millions of fans suddenly shrunk to one indifferent drummer, she was determined to heave unto me all she once gave the multitudes. What's worse, death seems to have reduced her catalog to one song. Because death hates me. And the princess herself, despite the fact that her divinity has been called into doubt by the fact that she's a ghost in my studio apartment, She is determined to not yield control of her dollop of a kingdom to her murderers. She spends her days texting royal decrees that go nowhere, and on occasion she passes me cryptic notes to give to her generals, which I, of course, throw in the garbage. And as a result, I once nearly started a nuclear war. Now you may ask, do I love my new family? Love has so many definitions, of course, but none apply to us, so no. I also have zero advice to give, for I suspect this is a rather specific sort of haunting. However, if you do not wish to find yourself in a similar, highly particular pickle, I would suggest never wishing for anything, ever.
I believe anyone can change. I believe anyone can change. I believe anyone can change.